Hey, what's going on everyone? Greg here, and there's a lot of rumors regarding the 2020 iPhone 12 lineup, but there's one iPhone in particular that I am super excited about, and that is the smaller 5.4-inch iPhone 12. Since 2014, the trend of iPhones growing bigger has definitely been noticeable. The iPhone started off as a small 3.5-inch phone, which at the time actually had a bigger display compared to most other smartphones. Over the years, the sizes of all Android phones started to creep up, and while Apple resisted those bigger sizes for a while, sticking to just a 4-inch display size with the iPhone 5, they finally adopted the bigger screen sizes during the iPhone 6 and 6 Plus launch, with a 4.7 and 5.5-inch phone. And they haven't looked back since then, with the recent default regular iPhone 11 coming in at a 6.1-inch display size. Mind you, that's a bigger display size than the older 5.5-inch plus-sized iPhones. So we have rapidly moved to a point in just a few years where the default iPhone is actually a pretty big size. And that is the mainstream iPhone, which starts at $699. If you want to go for a smaller iPhone, you actually have to pay a premium in today's market, and you would have to buy the iPhone 11 Pro, which has a 5.8-inch display, but again, that starts at $999, a $1,000 phone, so a $300 premium to get to a smaller sized iPhone. And again, that iPhone 11 Pro is still bigger than the default iPhone 6 to 8 series and much bigger than the old iPhone 5 series. And even though that 5.8-inch iPhone 11 Pro is a good size for most people, there are still a lot of consumers out there who are wishing for Apple to make a smaller sized iPhone. In fact, many people are still holding out hope that Apple will return to a small screen-sized phone with the rumors of an iPhone SE 2 or iPhone 9. But even though those phones would be smaller than the default iPhone 11, those still aren't modern iPhones. They're using an older design, and many consumers want a modern iPhone 10 style of design in a much smaller form factor and without paying the $1,000 minimum for a Pro model. And the trend of bigger and bigger smartphones certainly don't seem to be ending in 2020, with rumors of the iPhone 12 Pro adopting a regular 6.1-inch display and the Pro Max version moving up to a 6.7-inch display size. And you might be inclined to think the future of a smaller modern iPhone is a thing of the past. Well, not so fast, because nestled into those iPhone 12 rumors is a phone that I have been waiting for a long time now, and that is the idea of a smaller iPhone based on the current iPhone 10, iPhone XS, and iPhone 11 series of design. This 5.4-inch iPhone 12 will be physically around the size of the iPhone 8, or maybe even a little bit smaller, in between the size of an iPhone 8 and an iPhone 5. But it is packing a more modern design like the iPhone 11. This is the 5.4-inch iPhone 12, which is currently rumored to be offered as another choice right next to the 6.1-inch option that Apple currently sells. And the reason why I'm excited about this smaller iPhone 12 is that this is basically just a size distinction of the regular iPhone 12. So it isn't a budget or an SE model. It will still have the same advantage of the 6.1-inch model. So both models will have an OLED display, the same A14 processor, which is currently rumored to be as powerful as the 15-inch MacBook Pro in multi-threaded performance, which is just crazy, 6 gigabytes of RAM, 2 cameras, 5G networking, and a redesign that harkens back to the iPhone 4 design language. So every spec that you would get with the 6.1-inch model, you would also find on this 5.4-inch model, which is a great choice for consumers. So basically, if you're going into the store to buy the regular iPhone, not the Pro models, those are rumored to be coming in at 6.1 and 6.7 inches, both bigger sizes than the current models that are offered. But if you are just going in for a regular iPhone 12, you have the option now of going with a smaller choice without paying a $300 premium for the Pro model. The only spec that probably won't be the same is battery life. Obviously, with a 6.1-inch size phone, that phone has a bigger footprint, so therefore you could put a bigger battery inside of it. So the main sacrifice people will make with picking this smaller 5.4-inch iPhone will probably come in the battery life department. However, there's still hope that Apple will put an even bigger battery than we're used to in the iPhone 12 series. Current rumors say that all 2020 iPhones are supposed to be getting bigger batteries due to a new battery protection circuit. This advancement in battery technology will reportedly free up more space inside of the phone. However, take that with a bit of a grain of salt, because even if Apple is putting bigger batteries into the iPhone 12, you have to account for 5G networking, which currently is a battery hog. So Apple might be putting in those bigger batteries just to compensate for the 5G modems. But anyway, let's get back to the point. Like I mentioned before, this phone is rumored to be pretty close in body size to the regular iPhone 6 to 8 size phones. So this will be a much more manageable phone for people who are used to those smaller sized iPhones. And for me, it means an iPhone that should fit easier into a pocket, or one that's much more manageable to use for one-handed use. And if Apple is making this smaller iPhone 12 option, I assume it will become the new cheapest iPhone 12, probably placing it at $699 in the lineup, taking the spot of the current iPhone 11 pricing. And I'd assume that the 6.1-inch iPhone 12 will be getting a $100 bump in price to $799, which would actually make a lot more sense than the current giant price gap of $300 to go from a regular iPhone to the Pro models. Based on this lineup, you would then have a $699 5.4-inch iPhone 12, a $799 iPhone 12 Max, that's 6.1 inches, a $999 iPhone 12 Pro, and then of course the $1,099 iPhone 12 Pro Max. Of course, along with that 4.7-inch iPhone SE2, which is also rumored to be coming in at $399. It's also important because this really does spell a maturation in the iPhone lineup, especially for 2020. We are going to get 5 new iPhone models in 2020, and a lot of people are kind of upset at that. A lot of people kind of think back to the old nostalgic days of just one iPhone model made for everyone, but that kind of doesn't work anymore. So many people question why Apple isn't just making one iPhone anymore, and that's simply because the market has matured and expanded so much that one iPhone isn't going to cover everyone's needs, especially in the size of the phone itself. Some people want the biggest phone possible, while others are still sticking with the iPhone SE until Apple makes a phone that is more compact. It would be like if Apple only sold one MacBook. Some people want the smallest, thinnest MacBook possible, like the MacBook Air, while others want the heavier, bigger display and more power-capable 16-inch MacBook Pro. It doesn't make sense to sell one MacBook when the market has diverse needs, and the same is happening to the iPhone market, which is why there will be 5 new iPhone models for sale in 2020. And although the days of the 3.5-inch and 4-inch iPhone are long gone, this 5.4-inch iPhone 12 will be the smallest modern iPhone that Apple has launched in years. And I am super excited to see what that phone looks like in a market that has been dominated by bigger and bigger phones every year. And while I love having a large display and the battery size of the iPhone 11 Pro Max, it is an absolute dream, I also feel like we missed the mark somewhere, that these phones weren't supposed to be the content consumption devices they turned into. And I'm reminded of this every time I slip my bigger phones into my pocket. In fact, I've actually been recently using the much smaller sized iPhone SE, and you can barely even feel the presence of that phone when it's sitting in your pocket or when it's resting in your hand. So I, for one, am really interested in this idea of a smaller iPhone and kind of taking a step back from this arms race of bigger and bigger devices and just kind of thinking about a simpler day when I wasn't glued to my phone 24/7. But anyway, that's why I'm excited about this smaller 5.4-inch displayed iPhone. I would be really interested to hear your take in the comments below. Are you excited for a smaller sized iPhone? Have you been using a smaller sized iPhone SE or iPhone 8 and you're just holding out hope till Apple makes a smaller sized device again? Or are you the opposite of me and some of the other people out there, and you just want the biggest iPhone possible and you think going back to the smaller sizes is a waste of time? Anyway, if you like this video, make sure you give me a like. If you want to see more from my channel, make sure you're subscribed. If you want to help the channel out in any way, make sure you check out some of the links in the description. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Take care, everyone.